Welcome, everyone. We have a fantastic evening planned for you all. My name is Anuj, and I'm one of the founders of Shuffle Collective. And we're very excited to host this event to celebrate the launch of Dante Clark's new book, Close Caskets. We have, alongside Donté Clark, we have three amazing writers that you probably have already heard of or heard from. We have Lizette Wazner, we have Makeda, and we have Carla Brundish, who will also be reading today. And we'll follow that up with a reading from the man of the hour himself and a Q&A about his new book. So before we kick off the event, I'd love to tell you all a little bit about Shuffle Collective for those of you who might be finding us for the first time. With Shuffle Collective, we bring together projects that are shaping and creating culture, whether through art, music, literature, education, policy, or social movements. We give you a platform to develop and share your projects, and we surround you with everything that you might need for your project to be successful, whether that's a community of peers, professional development resources, or live programming such as this event. So if you have a project, whether you're just starting it or whether you're wrapping it up, we highly encourage you to join the collective. And you can learn more about becoming a member of the collective through the link in the chat. And another additional benefit of being a member is that you get to follow other bold and meaningful projects, including those that you'll be hearing from today. So highly encourage you all to apply. And with that, like to introduce you to our host for the evening, Carla Brundish. Carla is a Bay Area-based poet, activist, and educator with a passion for social justice. She is the editor of the new book Close Casket, co-founder of the Pacific Raven Press, and also the founder of West Oakland to West Africa International Poetry Exchange. Carla, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Anuj. I know that everyone is here to celebrate Dante Clark. I want to share how wonderful this book is and how passionately I feel about it. Some of the best, most heartfelt writing I've ever read is in these pages, and I can't wait for us to be able to hear from Dante himself. We have a few other poets here and writers who would like to celebrate Dante's book with him. And the first reader we have is a woman named Lizette Wazner. And I invited Lizette to help celebrate Dante's book launch because she has written a lot on the theme of Black hair, the importance of it to the community, and how much it helps us to feel connected and how much distress we are often faced with when racism occurs around our hair. So I'm going to read you her bio and Lizette will kick us off. Lizette serves as a judge for the Soul Making Keats Literary Competitions intercultural essay category and the Women's National Book Association's Effie Lee Morris nonfiction contest. Her book, Trauma, Tresses and Truth, Untangling Our Hair Through Personal Narrative is due out in 2020 by Chicago Review Press. Lizette teaches creative writing workshops at numerous community and civic organizations. So we'll welcome Lizette.
Thank you for inviting me to be here. I'm really excited to hear everyone read. So I'm going to be reading just a small snippet from the project that Carla mentioned, which is the book that's coming out in 2022, and the conference that will have its inauguration this August virtually. So this is an excerpt from my piece in one of my pieces in this book, and it's called Twisted. It was just my third day on the job. I was still learning to use the fax machine. A coworker who'd been on PTO my first 2 days appeared in my office and introduced himself via a nut-cracking handshake. He made small talk, then business speak, back to small talk. Only so much to be said about the weather, the traffic, and the mayor. A column of silence rose between us. His gaze alighted on my head. How did you get your hair like that? He reached across my desk and ran his fingers through my hair. I seized his arm mid-arc, gripped it just hard enough to signal my spirit, and flung it away. If you want to touch my hair, I said, you ask first. And when you do ask, I'll say no. Shock and puzzlement leaped through his features. He flushed several shades of red, pivoted, exited. 1980s. Braids and dreadlocks are prohibited in the workplace at Atlanta Urban League, Chicago Regency Hyatt, Downtown DC Marriott Hotel, Washington, DC Metropolitan Police Department. In the US Army, African Americans could not wear braids until 2002. Do you wash those? She, a fellow strap hanger, blonde, on the Uptown Lexington Avenue Express in New York. Wash what? Your braids. These aren't braids. Yeah, they are. No, they're not. What do you call them? Dreads. Dreads? As in dreadlocks. Do you wash them? Of course I wash them. I didn't know you were Rasta. I didn't either. For over 400 years, Black women's hair has been the target of erasure efforts, both as African Americans and as women. The various institutional modalities of policing Black women's and men's as well, hair is a form of racist politics. Despite structural denials to the contrary, the fact is that our natural hair remains a heretical war zone. Policing of both Black bodies and our natural hair is a form of structural oppression. This is not such a surprising revelation when you consider that law is itself a form and site of politics. In her essay, Is Your Hair Still Political?, Audre Lorde, whose birthday was just last week, explains how an immigration officer's objections to her dreadlocks nearly cost her a vacation in the British Virgin Islands. Natural hair, whether in the form of braids, afros, dreadlocks, or other natural styles, has always been political. Unfortunately, despite being well into the 21st century, the response to Lord's question is the most disheartening, definitive yes. Black women's natural hair remains political and persecuted. Our current twin pandemics of COVID-19 and racism have surfaced even more the precarity of Black lives. Writing about the many disquieting, execrable, and prejudiced experiences vis-a-vis Black women's hair illuminates two conundrums. First, the absurdity of trying to enforce white hair care grooming practices on African American women. And second, the muted but invasive means by which society shames our natural hair from infancy through adulthood. I can't remember her name. I can't remember the year. I recall she was in Boston, and I know it was the 1990s. She tended the front desk of a Tony hotel, the kind of place with pearly shampoo bottles in the bath, sumptuous pressed robes on the door hook, pillowed gold foil Godiva squares. She sported a new, intricate pattern of braids. Guests traced her glimmering plaits with their eyes. They complimented her. Management did not. Management was alarmed. Management, in fact, demanded that she remove the braids and return to her perm, a style befitting a post, and her lacquered mahogany station. From grammar and high schools to corporate boardrooms and military squadrons, Black and Afro-Latina natural hair continues to confound, transfix, and enrage members of white American society. Why, in 2021, is this still the case? Why have we not moved beyond that perennial racist emblem? And why are women so disproportionately affected? Why does our hair become most palatable when it capitulates and has been subjugated to resemble Caucasian features as closely as possible? Who in our society gets to author the prevailing constitution of professional appearance? How do we, as Black women, Black men as well, how do we encourage course correction and alter the prism through which our hair is interrogated? Which differences make a difference? And when do they make that difference? A 2016 Perception Institute survey of Black and white women found that while the majority of Black and white respondents exhibited bias toward natural hair, white women showed explicit bias toward women who wear natural hairstyles, while one in five Black women feel social pressure to straighten their hair for work, twice as many as white women. One concept to bear in mind when considering the questions I pose above is this: hierarchies marked by race are ideologically inflected manners of enforcing the majority culture's status quo. And I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lizette. We can use the love in the chat or just clap. It's really great to see you, Lizette. Thank you so much for that powerful piece on Black women's hair and Black hair in general. Our next reader coming up is someone who's known Dante for a long time and is a very good friend of mine. Her name is Sandra Hooper Mayfield, also known to most of us as Mama Makita, Makita Essay. Makita is a poet, journalist, tutor, counselor, and community activist, and she's also Richmond grown. She grew up in Richmond. She is best known for her work with youth. Makita developed and served as editor as South County publication of the Oakland Post. In 2006, she won the Elo Hill Hutch Award for her contribution to journalism. Makita's work is published in 3 Alameda County senior poetry anthologies and a chapbook collection. And she developed Third Sunday Open Mic and an annual artist retreat called Sugar Water. Mama Makita is an avid advocate for women and has done a lot of work in the field. Mama Makita, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, Dante. Richmond in the house. There's no place like Richmond. Do you want me to start my poetry now?
Yes.
Okay. I have 3 poems for you. This first one is titled Don't Sleep with Angels. Don't sleep with angels. They are not meant to lay upon or to have and to hold. They do not belong to the transitory flesh. They are not designed to stay. They make love to the moment forever. They are not black or red or yellow or white. They are a rainbow of hope and truth and love. They belong to motherless children and souls that trudge the valley of the shadow of death alone. They do drive-bys for Black men and women whose children's blood paint bullets in city streets crimson. At night, they roll with the young girls who look for sustenance in bars, bottles, godless churches, and broken men. They make soul food appear in spaces where mama's kitchen is bare. They lay next to orphan children in internment camps in the land of the free. They hover over the dirt where a people once knew this land was God, and they thanked the trees before they ate the fruit. They show up as silent witnesses to lynchings and legal executions and the physical, mental, spiritual rape of a whole people. They catch the tears of the brokenhearted and betrayed. Their invisible wings make beats that fan the fires of life and bring messages of joy, hope, and sometimes doom. They trespass and loiter and conjure miracles in unexpected spots and spaces. They stand in the gap for mute gods who fade away with perspective and the transformation of the mind. The next one is titled Casbra, and it's for every woman, every color, everywhere, every culture, every creed. It's for my sisters. In the summer light, she was still beautiful. And if you looked close enough, you could see. It was the way her left eye drooped just a little, and that tiny scar just below her bottom lip, and the way her top lip was just a little bit bigger on one side. And the chip on her front tooth, he said, gave her character when she dared to smile. It was the way she flinched if you made a sudden move, and the slight limp she had from his size 12 boot the day she burned his dinner, the way she lowered her eyes so you couldn't see her pain. It was the nights she said no, but he took her and took her and took her anyway, and the shame and brokenness she felt when he whispered, I love you after. The soul sickness that made her body smell and her posture bend and hope turn a blind eye. It was the way she didn't matter. It was how he never really looked or felt. And it was that baby they wrapped in newspaper and disposed in a metal trash bin that served as a casket and a lifetime of dreams she had about love dumped in a lonely, dark, nasty landfill. In the summer light, she's dead, but still beautiful. And if you look close enough, you can see the needle in her arm had become her friend and savior, and now her deliverance. Say her name. Her name was Casbra. And I have one more. It's titled Unapologetic. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I gave it up like liquor, nicotine, and making bad boys king, and nights that stole the years. I'm not sorry. I'm good, like early morning loving, nappy hair, girls with daddies, Nana's peach cobbler, and things that dried my tears. I'm not sorry. I'm living in the plus, spitting poetry, loving hard, dissing the C word, sitting on the porch in my slip, and copacetic things that ice my fears. I'm not sorry. I'm authentic, like slow dancing, sporting locks, laughing loud, oozing black, saying fitting to, doing juju, and other things that make jungle dust if I want to. I'm not sorry. I'm courage, like mama dead, daddy gone, 12 on my own, 16 pregnant, bury the middle sister, survive the divorce, bury the daddy, survive, 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 bury the big sister, living every day anyway, and other strengths that slave fear. I'm not sorry. I'm light in the dark, blinding, shining, turn me on light like the sun every day, shining light for me to see what my life could truly be, and other notes that danced on fear. I'm not sorry, I'm divine, like an eclipse or a hood miracle. Harvested organs that take my breath and give it back again. I'm not sorry, I'm love. Pour me out, scrape the bowl, lick the spoon, love. Ain't too proud to beg, love. Ride or die, love. Down in the country with the elders, love. Forgiving incest, love. Raggedy draws, but the kids go to private school anyway, love. 8 Rock, love. Forgiving rape, love. Didn't eat last night, but the baby did, love. Surviving slavery, love. Taking your whooping, love. Everlasting love. Pushing out a baby, love. Black of the berry, love. Hanging from a tree, love. Taking a knee, love. Die at the Lorraine Hotel, love. Forgive myself, love. Hang on a cross and die, love. And other truths that saved my life. I'm not sorry. I'm free, unapologetically. So I just want to say that when I met Dante, he was a little boy, and my granddaughter was a part of a club that went to the play that he wrote, and she was 10, I think, and it was like 10 or 11 years ago, whatever. I was amazed at the at the at the art, just the art of the play and the depth of the words and the meanings of it. And I was in Richmond in the 1950s, and here we were all these years later, and this young man is bringing something to the light in such a beautiful and special way, and rising up in a city that had been stripped from everything economically and socially, and it wasn't a place that anyone wanted to go, like the flower that rose in the concrete. I just want to say um, I'm so proud of you. I don't know what to do, and I just thank God and pray that you continue to let that light shine everywhere, Dante. Thanks for listening to me, y'all.
Thank you so much, Mama Makita, and thank you for making the connection. I want to speak a little bit to Dante's heart and the love that he has for the community and people. I'm Carla, and a few years ago, I started a project called West Oakland to West Africa, where poets in Oakland were communicating with poets in Africa. And Dante, although he didn't participate in the exchange, Makita invited him into the group, and he helped us by his presence, by raising funds so that we could actually travel to Ghana. Dante is a giving person, an open heart. That was how I connected with him in person. But before then, I had actually gone to see Tay's Harmony. And I didn't know when I went to that play a long time ago that I would be coming back full circle to then interact with Dante. And then later on, Mama Makita made the connection. And I was invited to support in this book. We also have here tonight Fred Dodsworth, who helped with the layout and the editing of the book. And probably here in the audience, we may have Monica Rose, who did our beautiful cover. I don't know if people can see my cover or see me. So I just want to acknowledge all the beauty and the love that has gone into making this book. I'm just going to read one poem, and then I'm going to bring on Dante because I know people cannot wait. The poem I want to share with you tonight is called My Black Body Leaks Onto This Page. And it's a poem that I wrote a couple of years ago. But when I was reading the poems of this book and hearing the pure heart and love that Dante put into telling his story, I realized that he's really talking about our bodies, our Black bodies. So this is my offering, and then I'll introduce Dante and we'll get on with the main event. So my Black body leaks onto this page. This is my body, my vessel. It holds the memory. Come inside and take a look. The blood that remains circulating in mass media on display. We are the gurus you look for, the incarnation of Mammy, embraced and then transformed. I claim it. I claim the caregiver, the humble servant of children and elders, back bent over tubs of water, washing always, cleansing, refining and redefining bills and bank statements, editing and co-opting terms. This body holds scars recent and past, scars from penetration, whips, tools, and medical devices. This is my body, pushing out children to be protected and nourished, holding them in tears and in basketball titles, Grammy Awards, scholarships, and jail cells. We are also the Jezebel, the booty, the redefiners of fashion. My body boldly states, no earrings are too big, no color too loud, no dance move I cannot make. This is the female body, the Black female body. Thank you. So here we are. We've come to the moment. Once again, Dante, I just want to thank you personally here and publicly for inviting me into this book of poetry. There's so many words that I cannot say about how moved I was when I read it the first time. I actually cried for a while. And I always remember that line you wrote, he cried real tears. So here's his bio, because I think it's important for people to understand not only where Dante came from, but where he's also hoping to go and bring us with him. Because he could have had anybody publish this, but he chose a small press, a small Black woman-owned press. Donté Clark, AKA Don Black, a native of Richmond, California, reigns as one of the most prolific writers and voices out of the Bay Area arts community. Dante is not only eclectic in the art of storytelling through spoken word, in performance is poetry itself. He captures the complexities of what it feels and looks like to be vulnerable within Black masculinity, while governed by a society of white supremacy and hyperviolence amongst Black youth. Graduating high school in 2008, Dante co-founded an arts collective, Raw Talent, Richmond Arts with Talent. Based in his hometown of Richmond, Dante engaged young people in writing and performance workshops, securing space for youth to process their trauma and rewrite the narrative that has surrounded their community. In 2013, Raw Talent, led by Dante and co-director Molly Rayner, shout out Molly, I saw you here, published Tay's Harmony, a play documenting the shared experiences of Richmond's youth and their parallels to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. The writing process for Tay's Harmony was filmed and presented in Romeo is Bleeding, the documentary produced by Russell Simmons on All Deaf Digital in 2017. After winning over 30 awards at film festivals across the United States, Dante was able to travel the states speaking at high schools, colleges, universities, and community forums about Romeo is Bleeding and his experiences helping young people excel in the art community. In 2016, Dante was featured in the film Kicks, A Tale of Urban Youth and Their Rites into Passage to Manhood. He also co-starred in 2 seasons of the North Pole Show, a political comedy on docu-series about gentrification in its effects of communities of color in North Oakland. That's on YouTube, everyone, the North Pole Show. October 2018, 10 years later, after co-founding Raw Talent, Dante published his first collection, No Freedom. And in October 2018, it's available on Amazon. Let's welcome to the stage, Donté Clark.
Man. Thank y'all for being here. I see a lot of my loved ones, my cousins. I'm not used to this. Y'all who know me know I'm more of an in-person type of cat. I can't hit none of y'all. So just me talking to a bunch of faces is kind of it's a little weird for me, but we gonna get through this. Before I say anything further, I want to say Antoine Willie. For those who know, you know. It's a young brother who have been missing for the past few days. Called an Uber. And family ain't seen or heard from him since, as far as I know. So just wanted to say his name, uplift his name right now, Antoine Willie. I also want to say rest in peace to my granny Mo. She passed away 2011, February 22nd. So I dedicate this also to my granny Mo. I got 2 books. For those who know, one of them is No Freedom. This was my first collection. Right now, we're here to talk about Close Caskets. I got so many different pieces that I could do that, you know what I mean? I kind of don't really know what to do. I wrote down a couple of notes, but you feel me? I'm not used to doing this reading thing, so I'm gonna try to see where we can start. But I like to say this too. Note to readers. The idea of Closed Caskets is to remind, challenge, and encourage all ears to unbusy themselves and to seek silence in order to hear our true selves speak. It is a reminder to press forward to the voice in the wilderness, crying out in a desolate place, beckoning for all eyes to reflect on our journey from as far back as to the now. And the question, how did we get here? Where are we? Who are we? And whose are we? And where are we headed? I want y'all to pause, acknowledge, be an active participant in the grieving and renewal process, and see oneself as a reflection of one people. Who I am is how I treat you. Closed Caskets is about looking back. It's about looking within and pouring out all of those broken pieces, embracing that what remains and pressing forward. We have to close caskets in order to one day know freedom. Life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. I'm a walking prayer, Negro spiritual. Cry from a broken heart that bleeds obsidian. Trying not to be a cup of bitter sip on bare table, absent of soul food. In the kitchen, out of reach from grandma's hands. In some trap house, section 8 miles away from life that's living. Woo! I want to empty out. Be baptized in honey and drip for eternity. For eternity. For 4 eternities, like life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. It's like standing before noon with blackbirds, tunes, clean curbside, mass circle, Chesley, 5th Street, burial site, us for laundering here. Blood and liquor spills out us bronze vessels, tattooed with ghetto gospels, gold teeth smiling past hurt, bullet scars left across my kernel. Yeah, shit, I live where we die. Can't hide when death walk, we be out. Side, hanging, still, camp close with my tribe, slurred speech, families tied back 60 years before crack. Before being black was us, damned we are. With peace of minds as yours reap, lose sleep, drink this wheat. What gains for our claims besides prison? Barred, triggered, beat down, work hard, crack our crown, hero in attempts to free. Dumb minds, trap babies, blame us for hell's heat, for poverty's leash around my neck, milk my pockets, then white flight your college, yeah. Sun rays our sails, bruised fruit, ripe well for jail. They sell sales, free labor, still here like life. Sings me sweet songs, yeah. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. Somewhere in America, my 2 feet are Nike shoelaced on jaded. Sidewalks of crisscross rhythm with proverbs, scriptures, and psalms to Yah, him printed on my heart. It's patterned to the blues, that jazz and auntie shoes, that jazz and auntie shoes. Do. We overstepped last night's news of blood spills when life in its earliest years slips in cracks and pits of ghetto bellies, hunger cling to rib cage, fifth and chestly liquor swallow, Hennessy tears dropped on vacant lots, maybe a rose or two will grow from this asphalt slanted. Clips pedals, crimson dip, because when thugs cry, bloodshed, yeah, these streets will do that to you. Do. You be somewhere in America, or folded wide in the pockets of court cases when white men in black gowns gavel, racist silence, and silence, you sit there, clenched teeth, seek with grief and cry, when 12 strangers, all who favor disciples of white God, hang niggas with a life sentence, with prideful stares that tap dance a glance from the abyss of a blue eye. See, I see, y'all see me as a life sentence. Yeah, yes you do. That's what I heard. I heard my skin, this nose, my sis, my bros, you count as your foes, a byword, like black be me, like I ain't the soil, like this blood ruby red, jewel post ain't royal. What nigga? You think I ain't somewhere in America? A full shoulder with the burden sacked across my back, sack like nowhere for higher, plights, eyesight, nowhere for higher, like do you know where for higher? Do. Besides county, besides state, beside federal numbers across my breastplate, aside a thick stake of debt and the breath take of the after nights when we have to fight against everything. Because somewhere in America, there are childs left behind to daily bread of molded crumbs when gums beg me of my pennies for Denny's instead of the Most High's mercy. They thirsty us starving, living waters, God in the even. Fruit be best without heathens, misleading songs and evil norms. Where you going, my nigga? Do. Somewhere in America, I goes to find me some freedom somewhere in America. Whitey says I's free and I believe them. Can't leave them here. No. Ain't the best of things to do. Go home to the motherland for what? I's fine right here in his zoo. Ooh. What's left with you? Don't you know no right? Shit, I's okay with anything we get. Long as I's an equal to the whites. But it's not like this all kinky head and dirty like yikes. Be me for what? What's special about me as I be? As I be me, I gets nowhere but grave. Engraved picture on a shirt, facetious white Jesus left me dead in the church somewhere in the South. Television sold me. They tell a vision of lies convenient for the couch, anything to entertain your mind, control how you think. You think, because you think, man, who told you that? Do. Who told you that freedom was somewhere in America? Because I've been thumbs up, side road hiking. I'm college paper typing, 2 jobs overnighting, overtraining, Tyson, fighting and biting my way through this holy field, and I ain't seen it. Who told you that? For you, I'll wait at the Fruitvale station, wait for Oscar, grant us peace for Eric, garner the spirit to hip hop lyrics, a toenail close inside a mansion or a kingdom. Stop dancing for chances, you want answers, then be them, you breathe them. So Farage, the heat thickens. They say Black Lives Matter while livers sicken. Oh. Black Lives Matter while livers sicken from vodka. Bloody Mary shots, they bullet our babies to submission. Your attention is payment, huh? So where do you invest your time in? Is it sin? Is it the white man's gin? Because if it's not to Messiah your soul, then it's nothing pretty. We're just a pack of blind eyes chasing shadow in a burning city somewhere in America. Life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. It's like being born black, bearing blues by brothers buried beneath bridges, burned bodies belittled before becoming better, beyond broken but believing, because brotherhood build beautiful bonds, bypassing bullies, brute Billy Bats, beating blacks back, bone breaking, burdened by balancing books, bullets, bricks, bearing blocks blown by bombs, billowing blues, Billy Blue before, back bust boy, cotton brung benefits be barely breathing. Between blitz, brought by Babylonians, Baphomets, biopics, be blackberries bent below bulky branches, bruh. There was an explosion of lead that erupted his body to blood memory. All of his life cut down to seconds of booms, smoky air and shrieking tires twirl through stoplights as the engine cut corners. leaving a drunk night to plop its weight on the silence before a concert of sirens. The body's gold teeth stained with a current drip, spilling cries for mama out of his left cheek into the ears of the concrete. A red coat over the petals of young flowers stemming through what it means to be watered by blood. You see, they orgasm when they kill us. Show me a news clip with our face down, our ass up with legs spread open and wet, twitching and moaning with our eyes rolling back as we take it. And there you'll see on the screen, seduced by the ears, that you are an addict consumer of media porn. The orgy of buck rearing. When these white folks reach into their pants and pull out their loaded pipes on camera with the world watching American streets, the whites be like, fucking niggas. Yeah, fuck these niggas. And they mean it too. To see us lying in the street and they aim as they shoot to kill. Born pissed, without a pot to piss in, raised down a poverty street over make you opposition. Losing common sense to bottomless pockets, picket and picket fence probably won't profit poor people, will it? Nah, man. Shit, not in America. Chocolate children smiling cavities, duck, goose chasing underground railroads to safe havens or heaven, where white man's dreams fall from 4th of July sky, all while we still catching hell. Hell, just a freeway exit away. Flow straight and blow right through the light and break 2 lefts and you'll be there to the right. You'll be there. Hell, shit, you'll see hella people, hella high, hoping like hell to spread wings above telephone wires and shoestrings. Past shoeless Jimmy and them puffy-eyed leaning back to a time worth dreaming about. A hell of a winter these 60 years been. Still ain't figured if where I'm at is hella hot or cold as hell. Hell, all I know is these bullets burn, and it's some cold motherfuckers shooting them. My 18th. It's like being a newborn baby for the 18th time. It's my eyes opening to tears in a twin bed and forcing my body to the carpet. Pockets hurting. With no new nothing to be fresh to death in, it's the shock, the weight, the break. It's the taste of Thanksgiving on morning breath and the fact that there is breath to be thankful for in morning. It's not foreseeing the day of your birthday, another year past 15, but it's present. It's tears of joy and survivor's guilt. It's flipping pages in your memory to 2 months back to December 07 to the morning of the bullet in the death of Mr. Boo. He was 20 and young, killed before 21. It's pulling back the bed sheet that covers your windowsill, open to the skylight and held the day. It's the sun staring into your soul saying, welcome. As your mind flips back 2 more pages to September 07, day 11th, to the bullet in the death of D. Red. He, too, 21 and young, buried 2 weeks later, and many others was coughing for his blood. It's feeling like birthdays be the worst days, because most ain't making another year, and this shit hurt, man. And it's also about being cool enough to enjoy this pain for another year, you know, for the ones who ain't here. Here? Yeah. Du Bois. Because I remember the nights of shivers endured in the black hoodie, the common posturing of backbone and the raised foot against the faded paint of green stove entrance and metal gate, the fullness of our ears to the chatter, and the cipher of our lips to the blunt, with all eyes red low and on guard to the turning wheels of the street, whether bank rolls sloppy or not. We always could feel the world's hand in our pockets. Jump man dreaming to be fly at 23, because profits from scores of the rock made us cornerstones of Du Bois. Yeah. Oh, man. I kind of want to tell some stories because I'm so used to performing. Kind of want to tell some personal pieces. So I got this piece called Granny Mo. It's called Granny Mo Big Worm, and hopefully y'all can follow along. You know what I mean? Now I don't know what possessed Monkey to do it. What could have formed this small rebellion in her stomach and urged her to crawl with anxious fingers to the back of her throat, stretch her tongue like slingshot loaded with words too heavy for 6-year-old lips to fling across Mama Mo's living room, to ricochet hallway paint landing to burn into Granny's skin, but I saw it happen. It was on a regular sunny day visit up there in Montalban, when my baby sister Shani, soft as pudding, esteemed with neatly greased pigtails and knockerballs, decided that this day, for whatever reason, was the battleground anticipated to test her sharpened voice, her gangster, to pull it out with a sassy grip and ebony swing, brave enough to cut the corners of Granny's couch, slicing across dining room furniture, plastic covered, bouncing against decorated walls, framed with older faces that was young before us, in a fussing match with our daddy's mama in her house, in Granny house. All of what was said escaped me. I'm not sure what pulled this blade from Monkey's teeth to slice down the full-size woman that grandmothered half of North Richmond, who stared the fright into uniforms and police badges and roughnecks. But my sister Monkey, she was spunky this day. Words flung back and forth, from pebbles to stones between Granny and Monkey, and then at that moment is when I heard the blade. Monkey pursed up with all of her body and threw out, "That's why you look like Big Worm." Woo! The heart of me fell out of my bowels onto the carpet, rolled underneath the couch and trembled. It was the heavy gust of wind that turned the hallway corner, with flames spinning behind the thick glasses framed on Granny, heavy as oak tree, stern as brick in nightgown, rushed toward the voice that bled her ego. Monkey, fast as blink of an eye, was out of Granny's reach, through the screen door and into Daddy car. Doors locked before I knew she even left. Derek and I, we covered with laughter and tears at the thought of Granny likened to Big Worm on Friday. The hair rollers in Granny's hair was the haymaker. Monkey knew. If she barricaded herself in the car, she was safe. But see, Uncle Ned was like a nail in a tire. He impressed upon our ears the bounty for Monkey's return that enticed our eyes with fortune of $5 each. Shit, if Derek and I lured Shani back into the snare of Granny's leather belt lurking in the hallway, them 90s, $5 got you anything small hands could carry from the corner store, enough to trade our sister for a sweet tooth fix. So we waited. We waited for the heat to beat against the leather seats in Daddy car, knowing that Monkey would eventually forget about the sharp edge she slung at Granny's heart, because $5 would get her to climb over her fear back into the house. So we approached. Hey, Uncle Ned gave us $5. And he said, you got to come get yours if you want it. She had a brief hesitation, but then she bit the bait. Tiptoeing through the threshold, she had wide eyes at every turn and step. Monkey floated her way to the back room with Uncle Ned. She reached for her $5, and then Uncle Ned said, just as childish as us, get the belt. Realizing that the hallway was shrinking, and then Monkey tried to leap for it. In mid-swing, a jolting thrust, thick leather strap wrapped around the tail end of my sister, with the fleshly grip on the slither of Monkey's arm, catching her in the arm simultaneously. In that moment, as I jumped through the screen door into the blazing heat, feeling the sting of my sister's whips and her cries grabbing at the hairs of my back, man, it hurt me to see her grieve. But when we all hit the store later on, oh my, we was all pleased. Man, how much time we got? Probably got like a couple more minutes. So that was a story about my granny. She was a big black woman, big, strong, beautiful black woman. And she was a gangster, you know what I mean? Just from hearing stories from my pops and my aunties and them telling me about it. Like, I just saw my auntie Missy the other day, and she was telling me that my family was just so deep and just so bad that when my uncles was doing something mischievous in the neighborhood and the police was chasing them, they had chased them up into my granny house. And my granny got mad that they, rushed into her house and was messing with her boys. So my granny and her sister started beating up the police. So just hearing my sister, 6 years old, arguing with my granny, and then that's why you look like Big Worm. I was like, boy, you gangster for that, because granny gonna tear you up when she catch you. So that was the story of my granny and my sister both trying to, you feel me, figure out who was the baddest. And then the kicker part of that story is my Uncle Ned. And I'm about to get into him right now. Uncle Ned, paralyzed from the neck down because your best friend wanted to shoot you into a casket, rob you for stacks of street paper to ease his jealous heart with your blood, and you ain't die easy. You could have had your best friend killed. Told your baby brother, my dad, not to shoot. You told all your people to bring them to you and close the door. I wonder what words became the healing flesh. What cloth does one have to be cut from to know that stitches come with it? Behind those walls was a shooter's tears, and it was your forgiveness that spared his life. Why? Even though the rest of yours will remain still and limp, waiting on a mattress, or popped up in a wheelchair, hands curled into socks, sipping through straws and pissing in a tube, needing your baby brother to clean you and change your clothes. I still wish that I had went to see your casket. It just was hard to know that you was in it. R.I.P. Uncle Ned. I could talk more about that story another time, but I just wanted to share that. I think I got room for one more. I see Molly up in here. What's up, OG? I already know she want me to read Cool Daddy. And for those who don't know, my pops, his name is Donald Eugene Clark. Those who know him call him Spunk, but it was when I was young, I used to hear some of his friends call him Cool Daddy. And I just couldn't for the life of me understand why they called him that. But I'm about to get into one of the pieces about Cool Daddy. Born in 59, the offspring of a Tennessee waltz and ashy knuckles, there was a summer day that brought forth a boy, benevolent, black, and blooming with the silky spirit medley of fire and rain. On the collarbone of the 60s, I could imagine the mind of Cool Daddy then as a child. Just a boy growing into whirlwind and mud floods in North Richmond under segregated skies, chasing sidewalks to catch the dreams escaping his bones, priming his gentle to the wrath's cold, wild and hiding the depths of his sapphire blue, to be held in the streets of North Richmond as the poet of secrets. Since 68 summer nights, there's been a fright look over your shoulder that appears to be praying for another day to run while living in the life of footsteps in the dark. It's the tales of tales that keep telling me through margins of poverty's parables that periled you to the hunger pains of ghetto child, lost in looking out the window of a broken home with no X to grind in a mean old world that left you spoiled, slowly trekking towards freedom further up on the road, housed to forever suffering through the vamping shadows of underground. How slick to maneuver the sewers of backstabbers as steady as you were with the solid rock posted at the end of a junkie chase for the fire and smoke taste it takes for flying high. As they twitched and crawled at the night, you were searching for a miracle. Even as the little child running wild when the world's at peace with being syphilis, shady, jealous type of people, you knew to listen to the clock on the wall as something to believe in. A black Caesar outline with the sunshine and leather skin known to go for your guns, but preferred to cruise, control within, a mellow mood. What a lure for their eyes to check out your mind. Because in my time, I only knew a cool daddy's cool before I ever met Superfly. Before I understood the blood sweat creased in your fingertips and the heavy that dragged in your eyes when the night beat at your heart and chased you solemn with the trouble blues. I was unaware. I only knew you as cool, daddy. 5'10" of stoic obsidian, built like prison, complex, like arms of cedar wood, chest of ivory, Murray's grease sleeked on the dip of wave currents beneath a slanted beanie wave cap, hold the cigarette behind the wheel, thumbing through hundreds of $100 bills, steering on the highway with your knees while you speeding. Back when money was dirty and paid for Christmas summer trips and school clothes, before I became a prophetic bullet discharged from the chamber of Spunk's barrel, there is still a child that mourns. Behind the cool, in the midst of the shake, rattle, and roll of a fool's paradise, I see you as cool, daddy. I'm gonna start right there. You know what I mean?
Wonderful. Thanks everyone for coming. Dante is going to stay around for a question and answer. Is there anyone who has a question? Martin.
When did you first start to write? That's my question. And how long do you usually write in a day, in a usual day?
Man, I think I first probably started writing when I was like, how old is you when you went kindergarten, like 4 or something like that? I started writing then, and I started memorizing stories because I was kind of, my mom's and my teacher, her name is Miss Hitchcock, kindergarten class, jail for it. She said I was a little slow at learning, but when I get it, I got it. So my mom got me this Hooked on Phonics cassette. For those from the 90s and the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. So I had to listen to these stories online. I mean, not online, but in this little cassette tape, and try to help me sound out my A, E, I, O, U's and all of that. So first it was, I was upset. I felt slow, you know what I mean? But then when you playing these tapes and these stories, it's kind of good. So I'm listening to these stories and I'm memorizing. So I'm able to sound out words and spell words without seeing them because I know all my alphabet. So I think then is when I started writing and memorizing stories and just being able to just be sharper than everybody that was in my class, always a step further. So I say about like 3, 4, 5 years old. How often or how long do it take me to write in a day? I honestly don't write every day. Like it was like probably like a year and a half, 2 years went by from my first book, No Freedom, to this one before I even picked up the pen to really just write poetry. But it's like when I'm zoned in, it just depends on what I'm writing. You feel me? I say once I start writing, I don't stop until I stop.
Yeah, I know. I
writing
know
all
the
day.
feeling.
Yeah, because it's like for me, it's like when I write something, I could write 5 lines, right? And I stop. But throughout the day, I'm thinking about those 5 lines. When I'm asleep, I'm thinking a new line. So when I wake up, I'm writing. You feel me? Once I'm in that zone, it's kind of like I embody it everywhere I go. So when I'm not writing, I'm just not writing.
Yeah, I know the feeling of being in the zone. With paintings in my case, but I know the feeling. Thank you.
For surely.
Thank you. I see that Rodney Brown wants to say something.
Yes, I'd like to say good evening, everybody. Thank you for this wonderful format. Such a wonderful job this young man Dante has did. I got known of Dante when I was living in Hawaii in 2006, and I wanted to meet this young man. I'm a Richmond native originally, and I heard some of his material, and I seen some of the plays, Tay's Harmony, and a couple other ones live at De Anza in El Cerrito High School. And we had invited Dante to come be a part of Black Panther with the director Ryan Coogler, and he did a segment, one of my favorite pieces that I asked Dante to do. And Ryan told me, he said, "Man, that's the best poet reader I've ever heard in my whole entire life. Who is this kid?" He had never heard of Dante before, right? And I introduced him to Dante, and it was like one of those surreal moments because you have 2 Richmond natives per se in the same building with all this charisma that was going on. And I felt very, very proud to be in the same room with both of them gentlemen. So I want to say thank you, Dante, for all you've done. Miss Molly, thank you for recognizing the talent that this young man had and those involved who was imputed this wisdom into this guy and seeing the true gift that he has. He's truly a pillar for all of us. And as I say, he's my mentor, and I'm probably 25 years older than he is. But he's truly a mentor to all of us in the shining guiding light. We salute you, brother, and we give you that title, Real Richmond.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I do, man. I can't tell you enough.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Rodney. I actually hail from Hawaii and Oakland simultaneously, so I understand that. Yes. Hossein Al-Gal. I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly. Hossein?
You got it. It's actually, God bless my parents. They're missing a vowel to Arabic word, but you did it right. Dante, how's it going, man? I don't know if you remember me, but we were in Making Waves together. I was in the 7th wave with Rashawn.
Yeah. What's up, bro?
How you doing, man? Yeah, you're always a few years older than me, but I didn't realize it back then, but you were sort of the budding inspiration, my own interest in literature. But, seeing you do what you do you know, I had a little moment after high school and college and going around. I remember growing up, there was this narrative of, you know, oh, you're going to be able to one day leave Richmond. You can one day be able to leave Richmond. And I never understood what there was to leave. But once I did leave, I did realize that everything I ever needed was actually back home. So, you know, the world felt very deficient. It's funny. And actually, I was in New York when I watched Romeo is Bleeding. I went to New York because, you know, I was about 24 and I'd heard this is where you go for whatever it is I was looking for, you know, sort of a purpose or meaning. And I watched Romeo's Bleeding on Netflix, and I sort of realized that everything I needed was back in Richmond. So, you know, I'm back in Richmond now, and I'm grateful to say that. But, you know, I wanted to ask you a question actually based on Ninth Wave. There you go. I wanted to ask a question based on really that kind of idea, you know, of, you know, for me, I did realize that there is this, you know, notion of needing to leave Richmond, but at the same time, for me, I felt very called to that environment. You know, some of the best people I ever met, you know, are from Richmond or in Richmond, and ultimately, you know, I still see that narrative being echoed. You know, and ultimately, I think we need more people like you, people willing to speak the truth. I think that's why I've always respected you. You know, to actually take the time to observe what's going on. And, you know, I think it was James Baldwin who said the job of a writer is to bring to attention what others are too busy to notice. You know, so in your opinion, how do you feel like Richmond, you know, can retain talent? It seems like people that actually are talented get attention. People are trying to pull them in different directions. You know, how can, you know, Richmond sort of retain that talent?
Man, I think that's part individual choices. And then I think it just takes for those who want to do something in Richmond, for Richmond, with Richmond, to just step on that gas and just amplify your voice and your hustle, and then just kind of like collaborate. I feel like for me, like growing up, I grew up in all parts of Richmond, Parkchester Village, Central Richmond, South Side, but North Richmond is my home. So I grew up around this environment where everybody was hustling. You feel me? Everybody was hustling and doing what they doing. And a lot of them, unfortunately, you feel me, is in situations because of that. But I grew up in that type of environment, and I was a part of a Making Waves educational program, you feel me, like you. So they trying to tell us, you know, from 5th grade to 12th grade, college prep, A through G requirements, SAT prep, all of that, you got to get up out of here and come back. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I don't think these institutions that's built on white supremacy is going to teach me how to be a better Black man. It's going to teach me how to assimilate to a culture and be subordinate. So I'm like, man, well, a lot of the game that I got is still back home, and I got talent. So I'm looking at it like this, right? If I can go out there in my community and say something and do something that ain't never been said or done in a way that's true to me and true to the community, then I feel like I don't have to leave. You feel me? Half of Richmond or all of Richmond is my family anyway. So I'm like, if whatever it is that I do, I'm gonna be successful. The city 100,000, about 70,000 is my relatives. That's how I look at it. So I'm like, man, if I could touch 70,000 in Richmond, then touch another 70 in Berkeley, another 70 in the city, another 70 in Oakland, shit, what I gotta leave for? You know what I mean? So that was my mentality, and I feel like with that 18-year-old mind, you feel me, then connecting with some other youngsters. Everybody in Richmond don't want to write poetry. Okay, cool. You don't write poetry, but you know how to do photography. Can you come take photos of us writing poetry? You know what I mean? Some people don't know how to take photos. Some people know how to direct. Well, can you direct the person that's taking the photos of us write poetry? So you just got to collaborate and connect with folks and push that line. And I feel like naturally people gonna go wherever it's booming at. You feel me? Like Atlanta became one of those places. So now people want to go to Atlanta, they want to stay. LA became that place. I feel like Richmond has a potential to do that because, first of all, we different from, I love every city in the Bay, but those who know Richmond is a different type of environment. It's really a home, like blood through blood. I know you, I know your mama type of environment. So I feel like it don't really take much to retain that type of talent. You feel me? You throw one little family reunion, the whole city got to come out, and then you just go from there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. You know what I mean? That's just my take on it.
Most definitely. I appreciate those words. I just want you to know that, you know, I watched Romeo's Bleeding with the group, and they had remarked and they had shared that with some other people who had told me they loved it and shared with other people. So you may find it interesting that if you were to travel the world, in a way, you know, your words and your message are like seeds, and they kind of grow into you know, flowers that sort of resemble your philosophy. And you know, like you said, half of Richmond is your family. Maybe in a matter of time, you know, a much larger population in the world sort of represent what you believe. So, you know, I appreciate you, find you as an inspiration. So, much love.
For surely, for surely.
Thank you. I love this conversation. I'm gonna keep it going a little bit. Shane Collins wanted to say something.
My loved one, what's happening, bruh?
Dante, man, look, I don't even got a question for you, bro. I got on here. I'm like, I know Dante about to put us on to some game for real, and you know, you never cease to amaze, man. Constant inspiration. I just like constant constant state of, you know, instilling pride. You know what I'm saying? Make me feel, you know, make me feel happy from where I come from. You know what I'm saying? Just make me feel willing and wanting to move forward. So I just appreciate you constantly, bro.
Man, I appreciate you, man. You know, I already done told you this, but for those who don't know, I met this brother Shane through Molly Rayner. When Molly had moved back to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where she's from, and she started working with some youngsters out there. Stay in Power, it's an organization at work. I don't know the whole spiel, but them my family, home away from home type folks. Raw Talent is Richmond, but when I go there, it felt like Raw Talent. And this brother right here is so beautiful and so bright, and he's hilarious. And it's just like, from the moment I met him, I already knew, like, yeah, you gonna be one of them ones. And I feel like, bro, just keep doing your thing, man. You know what I mean? It's always a privilege and an honor to be able to be of service or to bring some light to somebody else. But you one of them type of people that when I see you, I just start smiling. You know what I'm saying? So you got that same type of energy, bro. Keep it up.
Much love, man.
I have a question, Dante. I know you've done a lot of work in the prisons, and one of the most recent times I saw you reading, you told this beautiful story about work you're doing with the district attorney. Oh, I see, Milan, your hand is up. I'll call on you. If you could just talk a little bit about some of the activism and the way you have taken this, the way writing has evolved into your activism.
Short story long. It was 2015. I think I seen the almost final cuts of Romeo is Bleeding. I think like February 22nd or February 23rd, 2015. So that was kind of crazy because as I said earlier, my grandmother had passed 2011 on February 22nd. That story is also in the book Close Caskets. I wasn't able to make her funeral. So as I'm watching this documentary and I'm seeing all of my loved ones for the first time, while I was just talking to flash before my eyes, and I'm like, dang, that same year, my brother, 3 of my older brothers was all incarcerated simultaneously, like months prior and months after, and my pops. So my 3 older brothers was in jail, and my pops, all of them fighting serious situations. So while this documentary is debuting, I'm turning 25. I never thought I'd see 25. And the men in my life is in jail. And then the other ones is killed, you feel me, on the screen. So as I'm watching this, I just remember as the film was starting to debut, I got some homies who are some public defenders in West Contra County. I'll be telling them about my story and stuff like that. And they were just like, man, we would love for you to come to our public defender's office for Black History Month and tell them your story. And what advice can you give us on how to defend the community that come from here? So I just told them, like, man, the way that y'all try to defend my people in the courtrooms don't help. When they try to call us gang members, it doesn't help when you say that just because you hang with a gang member don't make you a gang member. And I'm like, that's not gonna prove that I'm innocent. Like, you can't tell me, like, just because you got on the jersey and you hang with the Niners don't make you a part of the football team. Well, how I'm supposed to know if you got on the jersey like them? So I'm telling the public defenders, like, quit calling them gang members. You feel me? These is people, these is cousins catching cases with each other. They not gang members. We all grew up in the same type of environment. So I was just pretty much giving them game about, like, how to address each person's case, which in Richmond, California, that goes against the teachings that they may have got in law school, because Richmond, like I said, is a different type of community. It's not a gang community. It's broken up by neighborhoods, but everybody is still related. They just may not be speaking right now because of certain things that's going on. It's just kind of hard to come together. So one of the lawyers was like, yeah, it sounds beautiful what you're saying, but we can't go into the courtroom and say that because we're not from here. We need somebody from the community to illustrate that story. Would you be willing to come into the courtroom? I said, man, if y'all can get me up on that stand in front of that judge, yeah, I say it, because I remember sitting in the courtroom for all three of my brothers and my pops, and I'm listening to the district attorney compare us to what they said. They were showing signs of people from my neighborhood, North Richmond, and they were showing people that had tattoos, and they was like, they used to go by this name, but now they're rebranding themselves, almost kind of like how KFC rebranded itself. So I'm seeing on one screen Black men showing a tattoo, and then I'm seeing a picture of KFC, and they was comparing us to chicken. And I was like, and I'm sitting there, it's a white judge, a white district attorney, white public defender, all white jury, white bailiff, and it's just my Black brother and me sitting right there, and I'm looking at them describe my community of 20 people in a picture, and they talking about this person a gang member, that person a gang member, and 15 of them was cousins at a family reunion. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, man, if you give me the opportunity to get up on that stand, I'm gonna say something. And so one lawyer, her name is Linda Fullerton. She's been working in Richmond, California for about 40 years. She actually defended my brother Donald on his case when he caught his case at 16. I didn't even know that before I met this woman. She called me and was like, I got a case. People telling me that you are the one to talk to. Are you willing to come to court? It was like 2 weeks later. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Her client was facing up to 20 years based off of text message. And I was asked to come in there and to interpret the text message based off of African-American verbiage. And based off of my interpretation of what the police was trying to say, what he said meant, me giving my interpretation in the variety of meanings that the way that we talk, that testimony, the young man was facing 20 years based off mine. He got out with time served of 6 months. And so it's like, from that case, I've been able to work with public defenders on different cases. Some people get lesser time, some people get out, and some people, they take deals, unfortunately, because of the circumstances. I feel like that also led to me going into the prisons, because it's a lot of brothers up in there, unfortunately, that come from the Richmond Bay Area community. And, just being able to talk to them last February, a couple days before my birthday, and just talk to them brothers. And it was sad, but it was beautiful to stand in front of like 200 men up in there that's from Richmond, California, and play this documentary. And then for each one of them to come up to me and grab me and hug me and be like, man, bro, keep doing that. Like, we love that. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful experience for 2 hours to stand in front of them, perform and tell stories and laugh and just give them hope. And they was giving me hope. And what's so crazy about that experience is I left San Quentin, I think that was like February 25th. I left San Quentin, I think like February 28th. Somebody from a whole nother federal penitentiary called me and was like, hey man, we hearing about what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, hi. I went to San Quentin. How you way up in Folsom somewhere calling me talking about, yeah, we heard you was down there in Quentin, man. Keep doing what you're doing. We love that. And it's just like that type of stuff is you feel me? That's what it's about, man. When I was young, you feel me? Just having brothers and cousins and family members go to jail, me watching penitentiary documentaries and just seeing the conditions that people in since I was like 16, 17. I'm like, if I don't ever catch a case and go to jail and I'm doing something great with my life, I would love to be able to go up in there and give back and to get game from them too. You feel me? Because they done made all the mistakes. Like my pops told me, like, ain't nobody in jail for a crime that's new. It's always somebody up in there that did what you trying to do. So you got to learn from other people's mistakes. And I take that into consideration. So I'm like, well, if I can go up in there and learn from their mistakes, but then give them some encouragement to keep going, you feel me? then that's what it's all about. And the Bible say you can't forget about those that's incarcerated, the fatherless, the widow, and the poor. So my main audience really is those who fatherless, those that's poor and hungry, those that's incarcerated, and the elderly. Everybody else in between, you either hear me or you don't. You know what I mean? Because I don't. Yeah, man.
Beautiful. Dante, there's a lot of people who want to ask you questions. I'll tell you the list that I have now, and probably with time, this will be it. We have Ophelia and Kino who have a question. We have a question from Sergio. We have Sandra Wilson, and we have A. Thomas and Tatiana. So I hope, and Milan. Yeah, Milan. Yep. And that will be our last question. So Ophelia and Kino have the same question, which is, do you want to ask it yourself? I'll say it.
Miss Brundish, that was actually Ophelia's question. I was just sharing with you. I don't think you saw it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Kino was my student a long time ago. It's so beautiful to see you, Albany High. Yeah, go ahead. Ophelia, are you here?
Yeah, hi.
Go ahead and ask your question.
I just wanted to know, like, where does your inspiration come from? Because I know, like, as a writer, we tend to go through phases where we can't necessarily get our words out, or things don't necessarily translate to paper as we feel them. So it's like, what do you do in times where things aren't translating? How do you keep yourself motivated?
Earlier today, it was around like, I think like 4:30. I was trying to make a quick store run real quick. I'm like, man, I got this Zoom. I don't know what I'm finna be doing. I'm just finna show up and see some people, and it's gonna be cool. As I'm coming up out of the store, it was this brother in a wheelchair. If y'all in Berkeley, y'all know they be selling the street paper, street spirit paper. And I had offered him some money, boom. And he was talking to me. He had asked me if I can push him down the street to go meet somebody else that he was looking for. They ain't answering his phone call. And I was just like, come on, man, it's good. So it's a big brother in this wheelchair. So I'm pushing him up like 2-3 blocks, rushing, but I'm chilling with him, pushing him and talking to him, and just him saying like, man, thank you, man. That just made my day. And so we talking, he asked me what I do. I said, yeah, I'm from Richmond. I write poetry and woo. That inspired me. You feel me? It be little stuff like that. When I don't feel like writing, or when I don't feel like talking, and when I feel confused, it'd be like, always paying attention to those that's around me. That would inspire me to write. And a lot of my poems, when you read it, you're gonna see like who I'm talking about. It be inspired off of those type of situations. When I don't think of nothing to write, it's like, oh man, brother in the wheelchair. You feel me? And then I start thinking about, dang, if I wasn't pushing him, or who's pushing him right now? It's nighttime right now. Where is he? What is he doing? You feel me? So my mind started wandering off stuff like that, and then boom, I gotta talk. The little few dollars I gave him is cool, but it's like, who is taking care of him? You feel me? So that type of stuff inspired me to write. And then that's where I got a third book on the way. I done got so much stuff to talk about, man. But yeah, that's what inspired me.
Beautiful. Sergio, are you ready for your question?
Sergio.
Yeah, no, it's just a thank you. Thank you so much. That was thank you. Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. What's going on?
I'm cooling.
It's so good to see you, at least virtually. And I just want to, on the acting tip, are you gonna be doing any more acting anytime soon, or we're gonna get to see that part of your artistry? What's up with that, man? I saw you in Kicks. That was dope.
Nah.
Thank you.
I got a couple of ideas. I don't know if I want to tell y'all yet, but I definitely got a couple. I got at least three of them for sure. One of the acting I'm gonna do is it's based off of a piece that's in Close Caskets, and I feel like once you read it, you're gonna kind of get, you already gonna know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be based off of that. So it's gonna be like a one-man show monologue type piece. I want to try doing that. Yep. So sometime soon, probably this summer.
Thank you.
For sure.
Great. Thank you. Sandra Wilson.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to know, you told us a lot of positive things that happened to you, but have you came up against any adversities, any struggles or challenges?
Ah, struggles. Like my whole life was a struggle. Whether I knew it or not, uh just coming out the womb. You feel me? I was born with I think a broken collarbone. My birthday is February 27th, 1990. So you feel me? Just from the coming out the womb, yeah, I can't remember what my mama said had happened. I think I had like a faint heartbeat and a broken collarbone. So just I came out ready for the world. Like, what's happening? What we doing? I done had friends that got killed. Little brother, his name is Demarie Young. You feel me? He was one of my first students. Damn, every time I talk about him, I get emotional. Yeah, man, I try not to talk about him. Yeah, man, my little brother. You feel me? Yeah, yeah, my whole life. You feel me? Just trying to come up from an environment where just seeing everybody get caught up in what's going on. You feel me? Me being from North Richmond, but staying on the South Side, the adversity of catching the 76 bus. You feel me? Just being the only person that got to ride the bus at night through Central by myself. You feel me? I got a poem up in this book, Close Caskets, called Bringing the Noise. And it's a short poem of me on my way to do a poetry workshop in honor of Martin Luther King, where you speaks. And as I'm walking through San Francisco to get to the workshop, 3 dudes pull a gun on me. And then dude said, I'll bust his head right now. So in my mind, I'm thinking, should I grab his gun? I'm like, if I grab his gun, I'm gonna have to shoot all 3 of them. If I try to grab his gun and I don't, and you know what I mean, I don't get it, he for sure gonna pop me. So I had to, in 3 seconds, try to figure out, damn, what should I do? And then I just turned and walked, you feel me, walked into the streets. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, he finna kill me, he finna shoot me in the back of the head. But I was calm about it, you feel me? Like, whatever gonna happen, gonna happen. And then he called me, you feel me, called me on my name, and they kept walking. But I was so heated. I really wanted to do something to them. You feel me? But I'm like, how am I on my way to an MLK workshop? And I'm you feel me? I'm finna. And then I had to really process that. But don't nobody know. You feel me? I went to the workshop. I was late. Ain't nobody asked me how I was doing. You feel me? So that kind of bothered me. It's like, dang, I never let a student come to one of my workshops looking how I was looking and not ask them, hey, how you doing? You cool? Feel me? I had to go through a lot of adversity, but a lot of the times it'd be like, man, it's somebody out here right now that's blind standing on the corner asking for some change. Like, you feel me? Like I can't just focus on what I got going on. I gotta use what I got going on and channel that. Like, you feel me? I don't know if you heard or not, but while the film was coming out, Romeo is Bleeding 2015, all 3 of my brothers and my pops was facing like hard time in prison. I just turned 25. That's how I celebrated my birthday, watching my friends die on the movie and my brothers and my pops in jail. And I still had to travel the world and be positive for thousands of other people who I don't know. You know what I mean? And still come back to a full-time job and work with kids that just got killed in the summer while I was gone at the Ride Center, and still try to be positive. And man, through a lot of adversity, you feel me? Even today, I wanted to go for a jog one day. Like, nah, I don't feel comfortable. I'm gonna just do my little jump rope. And then the next day I hear Ahmad got killed for jogging, 2 white dudes, and me feeling like, damn, you feel me? I feel like my whole life is adversity, you feel me? But at the same time, it's like, man, we built for this. You feel me? My ancestors and went through everything. Like, how can I complain? I come from the greatest. You know what I'm saying? My bloodline strong. I told you my granny beat up the police. You know what I'm saying? My granny put hands on the rollers. So I'm built for that adversity. That's in me.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I'm so moved right now. And again, reading this book, there were so many poems dedicated to people Dante had lost. I know A. Thomas wanted to ask a question, but I think he left. Do you know who that is, Dante? I feel a little bad. Are you here still, Thomas, A. Thomas?
Her tablet died.
Oh, no. I feel badly. Okay. Okay, so Dante, that person did not get to ask their question. A few people have also asked about the book, and so it is in the chat, but the best way to buy the book is to actually to use IG, Don Black, DONBLAK, and contact Dante. And I've also been putting it in the chat, information about buying the book. So I want to thank Anuj and Tess. They've given us a little bit more time to answer these last few questions that we have. There are a lot of questions still. We have Tatiana and Milan.
So this is Milan. We're going to be very brief. Hi, Dante, is Auntie D, your cousin Milan over here, who I had sitting here listening. I just want to thank you for being able to paint so many memories of North Richmond back in the day. Your grandma, Ned, Spunk, you know, thank you so much. I love you. We love you. We're really proud of you. Keep writing, keep sharing our stories.
Sure, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. I love to see the intergenerational group here. Thank you, Milan, for such a beautiful question. Dante, there's one last question here, and someone else asked about your first book. We have Tatiana.
Hey, Dante, maybe I'm one of the few people you don't know. I'm relatively new to meeting you. I'm originally from Kenya, and I just wanted to just say thank you. Your work and your words, it's through Shuffle that I got to know about you, and like the stuff that I read, I was like, oh my gosh, I definitely have to come for this Zoom, and just to be here and to hear your words in person, and even the work that you're doing, especially the work in prison. You gave me a lot of hope. I've spent 3 years in Tulsa prison systems, working with mental health, and a lot of things you said, it just gave me a lot of hope, a lot of hope. And I know nothing about Richmond, but just to hear what you guys are doing through the arts, just pulling and rallying the community together, is just, I think, another example for me on just why we need to have the arts. And I thank Shuffle and everybody who showed up, because even in the midst of a pandemic, we're still able to like come together and share each other's experiences. And I think for me, it just highlighted that I might not like understand a lot of that background because it's so foreign for me, but because of just reading the words, and I'm able to at least see from another perspective. I come from a long line of freedom fighters. And so for me, it's understanding that we are all fighting for the same thing. We're fighting the same adversary, right? It just looks different, but we are fighting the same things. And it's interesting for me that the same ways that they prevail are the same ways that we are finding. I am not like a writer. I'm originally I'm a trained scientist and a mental health professionalist, but I think after spending time in like prison and people are telling you, like part of my job was to sit and listen to people's. We could go to the defender's office and say that this person doesn't deserve to be in prison, and this is why. But then just to absorb all those stories, you know, and for me, I had to start writing because I had to find a way to kind of try and integrate what I was learning. Like I always heard America was the land of the free. America was the land, like my family uprooted 20 years ago to come here to seek freedom. And so one of your beginning pieces, you're like, where is this freedom in America? Like, what street? Like, send me the GPS because I've been trying to locate it. And I think I kind of lost my latitude, you know? So your words are just so powerful because you kind of go into specific stories, but then you also go out, you know? So I don't need to have a father in prison, you know, but I still can see like what you're talking about, because at the end of the day, it's a people's, like, I don't even want to say fight, because liberty is a God-given right.
Right.
It's I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting for anything. And that's the audacity of this whole thing in America for me, that I'm like literally trying to find words. Because from the outside looking in, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, you write a document of independence as you enslave people. So thank you for your words. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Because for some of us, you're helping us even find words to describe everything that is happening, not just here, but everywhere else in the world. So just thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And you is a writer. Don't say you're not no writer. You is a writer.
Okay, so I know I really want to wrap this up at 8:15, if that's okay with you, Dante. We have 3 people who really have urgent questions.
I'll keep the answer short.
Okay, so we have Roger Smith. You're going to go third, Roger. We have Tasha, whose hand was up, but I want to start with a question from Tish, who cannot, whose microphone isn't working, and so was asked to read the question, which is in the chat. I'm trying to find it. I'm scrolling. Tish's question was, what would you say to a 16-year-old boy who says, man, I love to write, but I don't love to write in school. I just love to write raps. But the world, my mother, my father, absent, and everyone else is telling me that writing raps won't get me anywhere in this world. What advice would you give to that student?
I would tell that student to write raps and to share raps with everyone who wants to hear what that person has to say. You don't only have to write raps. Your raps can turn into a movie script. Your raps can turn into a book, a storyline, a narrative, a play. You can, don't limit yourself. A lot of people, when I first told them I was writing raps, they ain't really want to hear it. And then I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna start writing poetry, and then I'm gonna put my raps in poetry. I'm gonna just call it poetry. And now they listen. So it's like raps and poetry is the same thing. So don't limit yourself to other people's ideas. You just gotta keep writing until challenge yourself to write something good enough that they don't want you to stop rapping. How about that?
Beautiful. Thank you. Tasha, do you have a question? Okay, we're gonna end the night with Roger's question. So this will be the final question of the night. And I'm gonna save the chat, Dante, so you can read it, all the questions and ideas and things that were shared. Go ahead, Roger.
Tell them who you is, brother.
Congratulations, brother, and continued success. You know, you had a tremendous run of words that began with the letter B, right? I don't know how many there were, maybe 20 or so.
Like 50.
And I wondered if that was something that was planned or it happened spontaneously. Just if you could talk on that, I would love it, because it's something that really stood out for me.
I had wrote that piece about, let's say 2-3 years ago, and I had performed at some like banquet for brothers and women that's been incarcerated wrongfully, and they had asked us to come perform. And then I had performed, they took pictures, boom, they sent us the pictures, and then I was putting it on Instagram, and I was trying to come up with a caption. And then I was just like, because the photo was like me performing, and it was like a crowd of white folks is watching. It looked so crisp, and I was just like, being born black, bearing blues by brothers buried. And I was like, wow, that can be a poem. It just came like that. So I tried to write it to see how many B words can I say and tell a story, see how far I can go. And so it came from that idea, just like being born black, bearing blues by brothers buried beneath bridges, burned bodies belittled before becoming better, beyond broken but believing, because brotherhood build beautiful bonds, you know, bypassing bullies, brute, Billy bats, beating blacks, backbone breaking, burdened by balancing books, bullets, bricks, bearing blocks blown by bombs. It was just like, I want to see how far I can go, because I ain't never heard nobody do it like that. So I just, that's what led to it. And I got some T poems, a P poem, I got an S poem. I was like, I want to see how many times I can do that. So if you read this book, you're gonna hear a whole bunch of thinking the thoughts that trauma teachers are thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for that.
For sure.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, audience, for making it such a beautiful night. Thank you, Dante, for giving us your heart and your words. Thank you to the Shuffle Collective for sponsoring this event. And to our guest readers, Mama Makita and Liz Wazner. Really, the book is amazing. It's fantastic. It's one of the best books I've read. So please do get the book and support Dante's other readings. Any closing words, Dante, before Shuffle Collective wraps it up for us?
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead,
Mama.
There's a book read at the end of next month. Say the last Sunday in March.
Okay, thank you. This is for Dante again. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'll have it to Shuffle Collective to close it out.
Thank you very much, Carla and Dante and Mama Makita and Lizette. That was amazing. I think everyone's already said what I would want to say. So I'll just do the little marketing part of plugging in links about all of these amazing artists that were here today. If you loved Lizette's reading, the first one from her book, upcoming book, Trauma, Tresses, and Truth, I'm putting in a link in the chat. Please follow her projects, show your support by subscribing to the project, and learn more about her project there. For Carla, we're also putting a link to her projects as well, so that you all can follow that and know what everyone's up to. I'm putting in the link to Dante's new book, how to order it using the Google form, as well as link to Dante's first book, which I already put the link in the chat. I'll put it again. Please do check it out. And if you haven't already ordered it, please do that. And don't miss out on the reading that Mama Makita just mentioned as well. And finally, or actually two more things. If you liked Lizette and Carla's readings today, they're also going to be in a panel tomorrow. So especially if you're a writer, we strongly encourage you to check it out. It's a panel on the craft of writing with authenticity, and it's a free panel. So I am putting in the link here. Do RSVP. It's the same time tomorrow evening. And finally, if you're an artist yourself, if you're working on a project, small, big, getting started, or wrapping it up, please do apply to Shuffle Collective. We'd love to be able to support your project in whichever way we can. And with that, we're all done here. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Dante. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Mama Makita. Thank you, Lizette. It's been such an honor to have you all.
I thank everybody for coming, and thank y'all for spending y'all time with me. Text me, call me, email me. You know what I'm saying? And I'll see y'all soon. Once again, Antoine Willie. Keep that in mind. Keep that name in mind, Antoine Willie. Love y'all. See y'all soon.
Hello, Nui Loa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Joe, sis, I see you soon. We got work to do.
I'm memorizing now.
I'm not leaving until I'm thrown out of this place,
Hey, we can.
Dante, I read your work.
a lot, as you probably guess, and I loved hearing you read it aloud. It was so powerful and so moving.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Appreciate it.
Mama Makita says she loves you. Her phone died.
Okay.
All right. That was beautiful.